Denver and even outside of that. So I'm super excited to chat with all of you guys today. Thank you so much, George, Charlie, Coco. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're waiting for Rob. So I know that he was driving. He ended up having an appointment, but he's still going to hop on with us. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off and have you guys introduce yourselves. I think to make it easier, we're just going to go in alphabetical order. So Charlie, we'll start with you. So let's have you introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, how you kind of got into it.
Okay, awesome. Yes, my name is Charlie, Denver native. I'm a photographer, creator of Museum for Black Girls, co-founder of Black Creatives Weekend. We just create spaces to elevate Black creativity, Black culture, and spaces where Black people feel inclusive or people of color feel inclusive. So yes, happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. And then Coco, let's see, I may be going out of order, but we're gonna do ladies first. So we're gonna go to
Okay.
you.
Hey everybody, I'm Coco, CEO of Antics Apparel, also a Denver native. I'm a female designer in Denver, Colorado. And yeah, I would like to say one of the pioneers of the street couture in Denver, Colorado.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And then George, let's tell me about yourself.
Yes, thank you for having me. First off, good morning, everybody. My name is George St. Thomas Nelson, also a Denver native. And I
Hey.
wear a lot of different hats. I spent 10 years in youth development. The past 2 years, I moved to LA to be a celebrity stylist, and that's going really well. But have some family things going on, so I'm back here right now in event planning and management.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Doesn't look like Rob has joined us quite yet, so we'll have him catch up. So you guys kind of gave me a little bit of insight about what you do. So let's expand on that more. Charlie, we know that you're the creator of the Museum for Black Girls. So please share some more about what made you choose that path. How did you go from photography to event curation and now the museum?
I will, but you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh,
So we didn't get to hear what Keisha Marie does.
well, thank you, thank you. I'm giving you guys the spotlight today, but yes. So a little bit about me. I am also a Denver native. I'm a content creator. That was kind of how I got into, I guess, the influencer world, if you will. How I learned about monetizing my influence. I started creating content just based on my natural hair journey and worked with EXO Nicole, Black Mom's blog. I was an editor for that platform for a while and got to work for Curlfest out on their social media team. And yeah, it's just been quite a journey. And then Charlie and I created Black Creatives Weekend, which has kind of grown from just a experience of doing pop-up events to now creating experiences in an online space to celebrate Black creativity, culture, and teaching us how to get our coins. So
Awesome.
that is me in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I missed the first question. Well, can you ask me again?
Yes, yes. So what made you choose the path that you're on of your creative journey?
I think as a child or just growing up, I was always into art and creativity. And then as I got older, I realized there weren't many spaces where we felt safe to create or, accepted just being a person of color in Colorado. And so I think that's how everything got started, of wanting to make sure that we feel empowered and that we're at the forefront, because there's a lot of Black creatives of color in Denver that have so many talents, and are so great, and that people don't see. They're kind of in the shadows. And so that's kind of where Black Creatives Week, which is now Black Creatives Collective, came from, is wanting to make sure that we're seen, that we're noticed, that our arts and talents were paid for. Um, but I've been doing photography since high school. And then I just realized that it's no longer a hobby. It's something I actually want to do, that I can do. And they kind of just spurred from there with different ideas and wanting to execute that. So.
Okay. Well,
My
thank you.
favorite photographer.
Yes, all of our favorite photographer, definitely.
She killing it. She be killing it.
Yes, thank you so much. So Coco, I'm gonna direct that question to you now. So how did you get on this path? I know you're one of the pioneers. I've been seeing you.
My journey kind of started this, like, just being into fashion as a kid. But I actually kind of started as a promoter in Houston. So I went to school in Houston in 2005 and kind of built my, cocoism, if you will, there. And when I came back home in 2013, one of my really best friends, Jasmine, they kind of already had this clothing line going, but they just didn't know how to, I guess, connect the dots. So, which is what I'm really good at doing. So we just put the two together, and here we are today.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I love how she makes it seem so effortless, and I know how it's just so cool about it. So
she does.
I think it's a lot of stuff in between.
I know.
I think Coco forgot to even mention how she's done fashion shows, sold out fashion shows with over 500, 600, 700, 800 people showing up, like working really hard. Like these are people we kind of that inspire us in Denver. Getting these people to show up in these spaces.
Well, I appreciate that. I think my network kind of helped the line, if you will. So what I do is I just use my network. That's what's connected me with all these people. You know what I mean?
Which is a big part of what Monetize Your Influence is, right, Keisha?
Yeah, that's the whole premise. That's the whole premise of it. And I just want to give the disclaimer. Charlie and I always say this, and I just want to reiterate this. This is not the time to be humble, okay? Like, you need to brag on yourself. Like, this is the time. For sure. We are here. We are Black creatives. We are doing what we need to do. And we are doing our thing, and we need to celebrate that and be loud about it, especially here at Denver Startup Week, okay?
Okay, well, congrats to us.
Right.
Those sold out shows and the expo that both of you ladies were involved in, we'll get into. I was reading your questions, so I'm trying to say my little answers.
I got you. All right, George, let's have you answer the next question, my friend. What made you choose your path of being a stylist and doing events here in Colorado?
It's a lot like Coco. Fashion's has always been part of me. Growing up, where we grew up, it's about looking good, feeling good. I mean, there's this idea of enclosed cognition. With whatever you wear, you tend to embody. So if you look good, you're gonna feel good. You feel good, you're gonna play good. So for me, just fashion has always been one of those things. And it's another way to express yourself. And I'm a big believer in passion and purpose. So for me, I try to align those all at the same time every time I move. So like I said, I spent 10 years working with youth, and then I'm like, man, I still have a passion for fashion. I want to do this a little bit more. I'm doing it part-time here in Denver. So we're styling 303 Fashion Week. I'm signing a lot of different shoots. Friends are calling me because I have that eye for detail. And their dad's like, yo, so for me, after I graduated college, I was like, I want to do something. It's either go back to Japan to study fashion, because I did that for a summer, or go to London. And LA came up. I had a friend that he's a really good stylist. His name is Dex Robb. And he had a client that he needed help with in LA. I had been there for like 4 months. And it's like, yo, I'm here. Like, let's work. And he brought me on set. He's actually from New York, but he's there because a lot of clients, a lot of the industry there. And he introduced me to somebody else speaking in network. And just it took off from there. I mean, have had the most incredible experiences. But I think go back to originally what I was saying, your passion and purpose, it's alignment, because you're making somebody feel a way. I've always been able to just like make somebody feel their best self. And that's what I enjoy doing about styling.
That's amazing.
All it takes is that one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. One opportunity, one customer, one experience, it could change everything. You just got to be ready and make sure you know what you're doing. I think that's the biggest thing too.
I mean, even even if you don't know what you're doing, try to pretend like you're doing and do it the best you can and put your best foot forward and be teachable. Find those moments to be like, okay, accept that I'm still learning in this, but we're gonna work together, we're gonna figure this out. But I'm gonna come like my best professional self.
That's very true. I appreciate that. Okay, now it looks like I know Rob was trying to join. Let me just see. I don't know if Lindsay is still, or what was our facilitator's name?
Chantel.
Chantel, I don't know if she's still with us, so she can add Rob to the room. But let's just go ahead. I'm going to try to send her a message. Let's keep moving forward. So, what have been some of your biggest challenges being a Black creative here in Denver? We'll start with that. This is a two-part question. And I'm going to open up to whoever wants to answer that first.
I'll go. I'll start right now. I think, being here, it seems like there's not a lot of us. You'll hear that there's not a lot of Black people, but then the people that are in the industry, in that creative space, it seems like they always get this idea that we're in competition with each other. And because it's like, oh, you do what I do, so you're about to be my competitor, and I need to be the big fish in this pond. And it's unfortunate because there's enough work out here for everybody to eat. All the Black creators to eat. There's so much opportunity and so much opportunity for collaboration. But just being a Black man in Denver as a creative, people just feel like other Black people feel like there's this competitive spirit, which competitive competition is good, but it's not me against you. Let's figure out a way we could find some synchronicity and like work together to build whatever it is, or how I can help you, you can help me. Because what you're good at, even though if it's similar to what I'm doing, it's not going to be the exact same thing. You're not going to have the same outcome. So let's find a way to work best. But it's just that competition aspect that me against you, that just, come on, it's a little difficult.
I think that comes from a lack of opportunity, though, for creatives of color. There's not enough opportunity, which creates this thing of needing to compete, because there's not enough opportunities created for other Black artists or Black creatives, entrepreneurs, which is another reason why we created that collective, is just because there are multiple opportunities out here. They just haven't been presented to people of color, or we've been put in a space where we don't feel safe enough or inclusive enough to even apply for those opportunities.
Yeah.
And so the little opportunities we do have, it does seem like it's kind of people fighting over it, because that seems like that's all we have.
I think for me, to piggyback off what Charlie says, I can think of plenty of, fashion events that we haven't even been an email sent to us. So that's why I created the Antic Show, and that's why I created the Expo, and that's why I'm going to continue to create my own avenue for myself and for others, because it's just like, okay, Fashion Week, we don't get the invite. Okay, I'm going to get that same space that I actually had first, that I had to get, the Urban League and all type of other people involved just to get the space. And I'm going to pack it out. You know what I mean? But for me, I think it's just the demographic. So it's like this, like, okay, you have 500 people that fuck with you, 500 Black people, all of us basically, right? How do you get 500 Asians to fuck with you, and 500 Mexicans to fuck with you, and 500 whites to fuck with you? So for me, it's just broadening my demographic to the point where it's like, oh, my bad, language. It's like, how do you go, they like to cap us. So it's like, okay, how do you go above and beyond? I've proven that. I've proven I could get 500 movers and shakers of Denver there, but now what? Do those people just deal with me strictly because I'm Coco, or, it's the brand? So it's like, for me, it's just the demographic isn't diverse enough. I mean, we all know that it's 13% Black.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Charlie said, the opportunities aren't really there. you have to go get them. You have to figure out a way to uncap yourself when you have the city, quote unquote, behind you, but that's just, us. So it's like, okay, how do you, he's in LA, so he's working with a more diverse palette, you know what I mean? So it's a little different. I find that challenging for me. So finding, people of color distributors or, all that. So for me, it's just the demographic, broadening my demographic personally. How am I going to get another 500 people to make it 1,000, So working with what you have, but trying to maximize what you have. And then once you maximize what you have, then what? Do you move? What do you do? Yeah. Do you keep building here? Do you know what I mean? I have people in Houston, I have people in LA, but could I do the same thing in LA that I do here?
That's a good.
Could I pack 500 people in LA? You know what I mean? So that's the biggest challenge for me. Now what?
That's something that we all have to think about, especially as Black creatives being here, creatives of color being here, trying to expand and replicate that in other places where we may not be the only, right? Like, and I think getting outside of that mentality, that's something that I emphasize so much to people. Like, we as Black people have to not be okay with being the only person at your company, the only person in your lane, whatever. If you get on, bring somebody else on with you, like bring somebody else that looks like you with you, and more people, like continue that so that we can build. And I think in Colorado, like once we can, get past that point of being okay with being the only and taking so much pride in that. And like you said, Coco, creating those spaces. Hey, Rob, looks like we got Rob. Yay! Well, we're gonna circle back. I'm gonna just wrap up this thought really quick. But I think once we get past that point, then we can expand and we can figure out what that's gonna look like and get a broader demographic behind us, because we all know Black people move the culture regardless. Like, it moves the culture. So if we can all get on board and be willing to support one another, like, that's where it all starts. And we can build those spaces, and everybody is gonna come anyway.
I think that goes back to one more challenge too that I think everyone should know, even not just people of color, is that we have to work twice as hard for everything to be in every single space. So the fashion space, photography space, blogger space, content creator space, whatever space we want to be in, other people should know that we have to work twice as hard to get the same amount that someone who didn't have to work as hard as this guy. And that's the biggest challenge that we face, is one, creating opportunities, finding opportunities, opportunities for collaboration, and then having those opportunities where, if we have the talent, we have the talent, not have to go through all the hoops and everything just for you to see me. Just for me to even get in front of you to see what I'm doing or capable of.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna pause really quick, and I'm gonna just wrap up all of the first 3 questions kind of in one. Rob, I'm gonna have you introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then how you got on that path, and some of your biggest challenges thus far being a Black creative in Denver.
My name is Robert Gray. I'm the creative director and founder of a marketing collective that specializes in art called Rob the Art Museum. And I'm also the chief marketing officer of Ira Art, which is going to be a platform, but right now it's a art agency, and we do things like Sonic Boom, Arise, Far Out Factory, and a lot of music showcases. What was the other questions?
How did you get on that path? How did you get started doing what you're doing?
I got on the path originally when I was growing up in Chicago. Originally it started by seeing a lot of street art. What this street art was mostly like gang signs. Then I moved to Milwaukee to get away from the violence in the inner city. And then when I hit about 14, 15, they built a museum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it was my safe place to go when I wanted to get away from just the stuff that was going on in my community. So I just started focusing on art and just like really appreciating art when I got in my later teen years. I moved out here and I got tired of chasing the next promotion. So I just wanted to focus on something that made me happy, and that was art. So then I just fully dedicated myself to it. I started looking up art online, just Googling stuff. I have no like education in art. I didn't go to college for it. I just started researching and just started making shit happen.
I think that's a pretty common background. Either people they grew up loving something and just kind of self-taught and figured it out along the way, or yeah, it's just been a real natural progression. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I think once again, I have to give this message. This is not the time to be humble, sir. I believe that your IRL art just had a very amazing opportunity. Can you just expand on that, please? What you guys
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, this year has fast forwarded for you, Rob. You got Black Love Mural Festival, the Coma Street Project. Like, tell us the things, tell the people that you are doing.
Black Love Mural
I appreciate that. I curated this and organized and all put together with like my passion project. I always wanted to create spaces for Black artists and Black creators, especially coming out here. And I couldn't find that home or that community when I first moved out here. I was like really one of the only Black people that I've seen in my direct art crowd. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to know a lot of people like you guys. So when I was coming out here, it was mostly like white space. It was a lot of people of color because here in Denver, the graph world is really has a big scene in like the Latin culture. So I just came out here and I was just doing my thing. And my passion project was the Black Love Mural Festival because I wanted to create space for people who look and sound like me. So one day I was down at Civic Center Park and because I have a park I adopted in North Denver. I clean up parks on a normal basis. I feel it's important that if you're going to take from a community, it's important that you get back to that community. So one of the cannabis companies that I work with, they wanted to do a park cleanup after like the protests and stuff like that. So I helped them out. I ended up running to someone who worked for the city. Within like 72 hours, I made up this idea. I created a proposal. I pitched it to them and I was able to get $10,000 funding from the city of Denver Parks and Recreation Department. And I put together a festival where we had over 30 Black artists come express themselves in the middle of Civic Center Park in the middle of downtown Denver. So it was a beautiful event. We paid over 35 artists. We put over $20,000 back into the Black art community. And ever since then, we've just been like taking that serious and like going from that. We did like a virtual Black showcase of all Black artists. Then we did the Coma Street Project is another project we had with Iowa Art. We've been doing a dairy block. We've been doing a lot of things in this crazy time where COVID, where people like tell you can't socially gather events. I've been super lucky and fortunate to like have my business chosen, selected to lead a lot of these events and kind of lead the way. And another really cool thing we're doing is the Black Love Mural Festival after party, which is a live concert with a live crowd and a live performers in the middle of Civic Center Park in the Greek Amphitheater. When I was growing up, I didn't meet a lot of young Black kids who like wanted to be artists. Growing up, they like wanted to be basketball players or rappers and singers. These were their goals of them. So I felt when we did the Black Love Mural Festival, I was missing out on a lot of Black creators where their goal and the way they expressed themselves was musically. So we create this concert that we can give all Black people forms of self-expression, no matter if it's painting, whether if it's rapping, singing, dancing, whatever it may be. I want to give people a chance to express themselves. And I believe this is one of the many ways to do it.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And I've seen the Coma Street Project, and you came off way too humble, Rob. And I was like, because he be working, busting like, and he just, floor to floor, making sure everything is smooth and copacetic before it starts. So I see the work ethic. I've seen what he does. So again, shout out to that. We had opportunity to be a part of that. So
thank you, man. Appreciate that, bro.
You guys are doing Crush Walls too, right?
Oh yeah, it's busy September. I made a little bit of a fuss when I found out Crush didn't have like a lot of Black artists on there. I believe originally I saw like 3 Black artists on the lineup. I'm like, come on, we're going through the biggest civil rights movement in the fucking history of the world, and Crush is right in the heart of 5 Points, which is a historic Black neighborhood. So I was causing a little bit of ruckus behind the scenes, just voicing my opinion and being very vocal about it. So we work with 2 Parts, which is like a I forgot exactly what type of company they are, but they take care of everything on the back end. They're like promoters, they organize, they do a little bit of everything. So we work with them on a lot of our events like Far Out Factory, Underground Music Showcase, or IRL. So we had a connection with their leading person, Lulu. I believe that she's a really good ally. She's very vocal, even though she's in a position of power. She's very vocal about Black rights and just Black artists and everything. So shouts out to her. So I reached out to her and gave her a personal tour of the Black Love Mural Festival. Just because she's just someone in the community, I really wasn't expecting any out of it, but I respect her and what she does in the community. And then she invited us like, hey, you guys, have you thought about being a part of Crush? And I was like, yes, I've actually been thinking about it a lot. So then she like made all that happen. So shout out to Sonia, who's in his own Rhino board of arts. And also shout out to Lulu with 2 Parts, who fought on our behalf and made sure that we're a part of that. So if you guys come down to Crush Walls and 5 Points, right next to the Ramble Hotel, you'll see activation. We have 10 walls that we built from the ground up. We put a lot of our personal money into it because our GoFundMe wasn't doing as well as we wanted. But fortunately, we had a big donor who donated $5,000. And he was a client of Mo Graham. Mo Graham is a local artist who has been like laying the pathwork for a lot of us. So, and she's a Black woman, so I always try to empower, uplift, and just praise Black women. So I gave them first dibs of all the walls at Crush. So shout out to Mo for doing everything she's done and like leading the path for a lot of us artists who come here. I just moved here 2 years ago, so I don't have like a network of clientele like she does. But the work that she did over the last few years has made Crush possible, has brought together our funding. So shout out to Mo.
Yeah.
You doing big things for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a hustler.
I feel like we all need to step our game up.
I have you on here, like all of you guys. I just want to say I'm so impressed and inspired by every single one of you. And it's just, I'm humbled to be here with y'all right now. Y'all got to get your cocky up. Serious.
I see you. Working on it. I appreciate the kind words.
Of course. Okay, guys. So let's get to the next question. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit for the sake of time. So what would you say are your greatest strengths when it comes to networking? And Coco, I want to start with you because I know that you said that you built your network in Houston and kind of came here and brought it back. So what would you say are your greatest strengths, even with that transition, with those transitions?
I think my biggest strength, I would say, is just like connecting with the people. My network, my network is the people that support me. So connecting with them and the community work that I do with Dawn, I just use it together and really connecting with them. Antics started off with majority guys because we do streetwear, you know what I mean? And now my biggest client is the female. So
shout out to the
knowing that yeah Keisha Marie, one of my favorite customers, but not knowing that, and just, I guess I don't want to say use it to my advantage, but kind of just knowing my strength with the female customer and using it, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like really connecting with people. A lot of times people are spending their last dollar with me, and I know that, or something, that they could be buying for their kids or something. So I write the notes, I connect with them, I see who constantly buys for me, I ping off that. I'm very, very one-on-one with my customer. You know what I mean? If I mess up on the delivery and it takes me a little longer, I'm gonna throw something in there, or I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna let you know that, hey, I know what's up. You not just another one. Everyone I try to connect with. And that's just something that I think I've always done subconsciously. But that's also something that like Nip really, really like pinged off of when he was alive. He had a way of tracking every customer personally. You know what I'm saying? So just with the proud to pay and all that. So I think you have to get personal with your customer, especially when you're selling something, because you're not just selling a crew neck, you're selling yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how I built my network, connecting with the person. Mm-hmm. So
that's so important.
Use it.
So Coco, you mentioned something. I want people to know how much a lot of us are in the community. You mentioned something called Dawn. Can you tell us what that is?
Dawn is a nonprofit organization that it's a mentoring program. Well, there's two parts. So there's like, we mentor girls from 7 to, I think it's 16 now. I have like the oldest one in the program. But and then we also have a part that's like a sisterhood. So like the mentors are also connected in a way where it's almost like I don't want to say a sorority, but a conglomerate of mothers and entrepreneur business women. And so we look out for each other. But the most important part is the mentoring program, the little girls that we cater to. Each mentor has 1 to 2 mentors, and it's changed my life just on a non-business level. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, okay, you have 40 something little girls looking up to everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them have been to my shows. A lot of them see me in the lab. I changed my background, but they see firsthand that you're a Black girl, you could do anything you want and you can make money off of it. But you have to be on the straight and narrow. So, and a lot of the mentors aren't what you would think mentoring look like.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about it, because when Rena, my best friend, she's the founder of it, she asked me for 2 months to be it. And I'm like, I'm not a mentor. Like, like I use bad language. You know what I mean? And she's like, no, Kane, like, I'm telling you, like, do it, do it, do it. And she just needed people at the time, to be honest. And so her being my best friend, I'm like, all right, F it. We gonna run it up. And I'm like, it's honestly changed my life on a whole nother level, because now we have Bougie Brats, the 12-year-old CEO. She's doing her lip gloss thing. She gonna be the next bigger than Kylie Jenner. So we got a lot of young entrepreneurs. We got your daughter, Charlie. Mm-hmm. So it's beautiful. And so it's changed it gives me a piece of, okay, you got these little girls looking at your every move. So you gotta move right, and I feel like that's my way to directly help the community. That it's not on a political level, it's not, necessarily front line, but it is front line because this is our future. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Love it.
I like that. Congratulations on that. That's big. Like, I come from that youth background in development. So for me, knowing like how much of an influence you have on them, you could change someone's life. And it's just,
facts.
You're rewarded in so many different ways, like through your business, when you're intentional about helping others, when you want to, go out and spread your arms, spread your love, mm-hmm. In an intentional way. So
right.
Shout out.
Yes. And I'm gonna thank you so much, Coco. Like that, you hit on so many things. I wish we had more time to like expand more, but what really stood out the most was like the personal relationships. Like that's the biggest thing with networking. I think people look at it as a very impersonal thing, like a transactional thing. But when you make it a personal, like real intentional relationship building process, then you're gonna have long-term customers, and it's gonna build your network, and the product will speak for itself because people are gonna be speaking to that and speaking to the experience that they get. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So I'm gonna pass that same question now to Charlie. What would you say are your greatest strengths when it comes to networking, and how does that help here?
I think I have built up to it. And again, me and you, Keisha, have talked about this a lot. Growing your network requires, a level of self-love too, and even confidence within yourself. And I think as we've gone on this journey, it's just gotten a little bit easier. Your network is your network. That is like the biggest quote, like I can keep saying over and over. We've heard it a lot, but as we've gone on this journey of creating this collective and museums and art, it's really your network. I met George not too long ago, just off of networking. I went to his branch, he came to my table, I was like, hey, you're doing this, I'm doing this, what's up?
Right.
And it was just really getting the courage to speak to that person that I didn't even know. And now we're here, like creating multiple opportunities, doing collaboration off of just a simple conversation, introducing yourself, not being afraid you have to network with people. There are your network can get you in places that degree cannot. It really can. Just network with people who can vouch for you, people who
Because
know
I want to do something with all y'all.
Oh yeah.
After this.
Hey man, you got some stuff coming up.
Okay.
Literally.
Hey, I'm gonna do a shameless plug towards the end, so yo, you know.
We're gonna do a
Plug, so please.
We gotta get something working for this winter.
Yeah, see, it's that simple. It's like don't. And we spent time, me and Keisha, we spent time being scared. When we first started Black Creators Weekend, y'all, we went to Denver Fashion Week, okay? We went to a Fashion Week event. Again, there wasn't very many people that looked like us. We split up. We were like, you have to talk to 10 people and I'll talk to 10 people. And every single person that we tried to go talk to, we were super scared. And then we went and did it anyways. And now we're like, whoever needs to talk to us, hey, I'm the owner of this. Like, you need to know
right.
who you are, you know? But it's taking that risk and talking to people. If there's someone that you see that you want to work with, that you want to collab with, that you're inspired by, don't be afraid to reach out. And because of the pandemic, there's been so many connections that you can make over the internet. Keisha can attest to that. Just even if you talk about your Monetize Your Influence, she got to interview like so many celebrities and influential people that we follow in everyday life that we would never be able to usually communicate with, that we would have to book, you know, and that we were trying to book for our conference that ended up getting canceled because of the pandemic, which is fine. We pivot. But just being able to have those connections, your network is everything. And that's a part of monetizing your influence, connecting with people, building with people, reaching out. Keisha, I can tell us more about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep mine super, super simple. My thing has just always been to do it scared. Like, I'm nervous all the time, like Charlie was saying. Like, we are both just like, oh my God, I need to go and talk to this person, but I'm gonna do it. And my coping mechanism is I put on a big smile and I just go and introduce myself, and it works usually. So I would say that's my greatest strength, just being able to push through that fear. And kind of to piggyback on what Charlie said, like, it started with that self-love, like knowing I am qualified, I do have the skills, I deserve to be in this room. And if they don't feel like it, I have what it takes to build my own room or my own building or my own space, you know? So I would say that's like my biggest strength, just with networking and with, I guess.
Can you tell us who you've got to interview and get gems from just based off of your influence and networking and reaching out to people?
Yeah, so with Monetize Your Influence, with that series, I interviewed Kayla Walker, who is a media maven. She's been on, I want to say, ET, Entertainment Tonight. She's worked with like some of our favorite people, like Karen Civil. The list goes on. Danielle Young came on my show. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Justin Johnson. What were you saying?
I said Alex Wolf.
Alex Wolf. Oh my God. Alex Wolf.
Go ahead, Keisha.
Like my favorite like social media maven, and she was probably the first person to say yes, and the one that I was the most afraid to reach out to. But I sent her a DM, told her what I wanted to do. And I think that's a big thing I'll say too with networking. Don't be afraid to slide in the DMs. Like, be intentional, but don't be afraid to do it. If you have something that you have to offer, or even just starting the conversation, hey, I love what you're doing. I would love to connect with you more. Here's what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, just start that conversation. So that's my little tidbit. So George, I'm gonna pass it to you. What would you say are your greatest strengths?
I love how everything like flows in rhythm. So mine is just being genuine and being intentional. When I go into a room, it's like it almost, so I think Charlie was saying it's not transactional, but this is my approach to life. Everybody's here to be used, right? The problem with using people is if you misuse them. So if I go into a room, like, use me, please, because my resources, you don't know what I do. I'm not just like, you know, out there like, hey, this is what I do. But if we have an engagement
all the time, right?
Like, use me, don't misuse me,
right.
Because nobody wants to be misused. We all want to be, you know, highlighted for our strengths or contribute in some way. So for me, I'm just good at, you know, being genuine and intentional. And I like just putting puzzle pieces together. I like fitting puzzle pieces. So I could in the conversation, a 5-minute conversation, it's a gift. I know what you need or what you're really good at. I'm like, I know a great person for this. Or if I
let's
do
put it together.
Yeah. So
Connect the dots. Yes.
yes, you're a connected dot person. Yeah, and just being personable. Going into place and feeling good already when you get there. Like I said, that enclosed cognition, looking good and being your most confident self. It all ties into networking, because how you feel about yourself, may be different from how somebody perceives you to be. So you never know what that person is thinking when they see you. I'm like, oh, I want to talk to them, but I'm just as scared as that person. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. People want to come talk to you, but they be so insecure and like in their head about, I don't want to come off weird. I don't want to say this. I don't want to say that. I don't want them to feel strange. And then boom, they just go up to them and have a conversation and get it. And you have this panel.
There you have it.
There you have it. Rob, I'm gonna have you piggyback on this now. So what would you say is your greatest strength? And with you being new to Colorado, I think you'll especially give us a good perspective.
My greatest strength, just being a hustler and just making sure I get after it. Just every day I wake up, these are my goals and what I want to go after. People say I'm dedicated and passionate about everything that I'm doing. My definitely strength is just being a hustler, just not taking really no for an answer. Everything I want, I don't let no one just like, no one's going to give it to me. I'm going to have to take shit. And that's what Rob the Art Museum is about. Just kind of like taking opportunity, not waiting for everyone to like just give it to you.
Okay. I appreciate that for sure. What about when it comes to networking as well?
Networking, just grassroots networking. When I first moved here, I ain't had no car, I ain't had no laptop, no tablet. I was just like on my cell phone. I would walk to all these different marketing meetings. I started off like really focusing on like the cannabis industry. Since I knew like that was my passion. I like smoking weed and I like looking at art. So I just went to anything that said cannabis, like on meetups or any type of thing on Facebook, any marketing thing, I would just show up and I'll be the only Black person there. But it was cool. I wanted to make my own opportunity and I wasn't gonna wait until I was invited to a table. I sat in the front, I listened, I took notes. I networked and tried to meet people who was willing to meet me and wanted to build what I was building. And I just went from there.
Where are you from originally, Rob?
Chicago. Then I moved to Milwaukee when I was like 13, 14.
Okay. You know LB?
LB?
Lawrence Brooks? Yeah.
From where are you from?
He's from Milwaukee, but he has like a line out here called Valid Kicks. He was at my expo, but he's from Milwaukee, so.
No, I'll be curious. I don't know what side he's from, like what high school he went to and shit. Everybody in Milwaukee, like three people separated from each other.
Yo, we be in a powwow.
I'm gonna tag y'all.
That's what we naturally.
I don't meet many people from.
I see questions coming up. Oh, if y'all want to powwow later, we're doing a Taco Tuesday.
Oh yes.
Go ahead and.
That'd be a good place to bring everybody together. I'll put the flyer up here in a minute. But we got some questions coming in too. Also.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I wanted to let Rob finish answering his question, and then we're gonna spend the last couple of minutes going over these two that came in. So did you have one that you wanted to tackle, George?
No, I just no.
Where are the questions?
Right in the chat. So there's some chat and there's some Q&A.
So we're gonna do the first one live.
Okay.
Okay, so they said, have any of you dealt with any negotiating uncomfortability with trying to monetize your influence?
Oh, big facts. I mean, when I first started, I just like, it was hard for me to be confident in anything as far as even my price and things. Like, you know, I just felt like everybody deserved a deal. The homies deserve the deal, or is my price too high, or you know what I mean? So, but as you grow and as you just you get these experiences, you like, nah, I'm worth that. I'm worth whatever I say. Like my design, my time, my everything, like it's your baby, whatever you're doing. So it's like, yeah, I'm worth that. Plus. And you know, plus, like they put in the car world. So, but in the beginning, it is definitely hard to negotiate, I guess, especially when you're you know, in a position where like you're trying to get a certain building and you know that, you know, any little thing is going to make them not want to let you get the building, or, you know, like you got to play ball, but at the same time, it's scary because it's like, we don't know. We're just out here, you know, we're just trying to figure it out. So, and we're going against people that have this whole layout and blueprint. Mm-hmm. So I just say, know your worth plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, my hour is $200, or, you know, this shirt is $40, or, you know, my event for me to come out and do the little picnic is, you know, $500. I don't know what y'all charge, but, you know,
yeah,
do you want it or not? Because you're gonna go pay somebody else, and the community or customer service, and that's a whole nother panel, because it's just like, we're so hard on Black businesses and customer service, but we still go to places where we're not treated right. Yep. But we bash our businesses, you know what I mean? And it's like, but you still go to that nail shop where they talk about you.
Yeah. You still come back to the food place that keeps on messing up your order. You still give them.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But and that's a whole nother panel.
That same phrase for sure. Okay, so George, thank you so much. He is sharing the information for tonight, you guys.
I'll take a screenshot.
From 5 to 8, come down to Taco Tuesday. Bring your masks. We are social distancing and staying safe, but we want to see you guys in real life. So come join us this evening.
Yes. Do we want to answer another question?
Yeah, I think maybe if you could just hand a question on the
let's see,
on that chat so we can knock those out.
Yep. So the next one, how do you all network in Denver? Online, offline? Is there some sort of cultural or community calendar for cultural events in Denver? That is something that I know. I'll just kind of speak to that. I've been not trying, but I have been kind of planning in the background, just wanting to get together all of the event planners and brands that I know of that create spaces like Charlie and I do for Black creatives, for creatives of color. We would love to put together a calendar. That way there's not this issue of, oh, there's 2 brunches at the same time, which one can I support? And we can figure out a way to like make it to where our events are complementary. If it's, you know, maybe it is the same day, but 2 different vibes, or on the same
2 different times. Right.
Just figuring out a way, that way we're not, because the community is pretty small. We have to be able to kind of share that support, if you will. So if we're doing it collectively, it's something that does not exist now, but after this conversation that we're having today, I imagine that we are going to make it happen.
And we do share a lot of events on Black Creatives Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find that on Instagram, Black Creatives Co. We do share a lot of events and opportunities. So we see opportunities come up for creators, we'll post that on our page. Mm-hmm. If you have an event coming up, we're more than happy to share that. So you can find us there, Black Creatives Weekend on Facebook or Black Creatives Co. on Instagram.
And we have one other question that I really, really want to, I'm going to let whoever wants to tackle this one. So how did you monetize your influence? Concrete examples, sales, jobs, income. So this is really the time where I was telling y'all, turn your cocky up. Let's tell them the numbers. We're talking about monetize your influence. So let's talk about that. George, I want to start with you.
So I was pulling something out. That was rude. That was very rude, because I was about to another shameless plug. I'm so sorry. Can you, one more time?
You're good. I want to start with you. How did you monetize your influence? So sales, jobs, income.
Real quick, because we only got a few minutes. So
yeah, let's keep it to 60 seconds. That way everybody can kind of speak on that.
Well, real quick, just being impeccable with my word, following up, and because monetizing your influence doesn't just mean money. It can mean your time. If someone's gonna want to connect you with that person, like how are they valuing you? Like, did they do a good job? So just trying to be impeccable with my word. One of my favorite books, 4
Agreements.
We all know what that is. And,
yep.
the topic wisdom is so important. So real quick, boom.
Awesome. Okay, Rob, let's have you answer this question. And I think you spoke to it a little bit with the funding with the city, but let's get like a quick 30-second answer.
how I monetize my influence.
Mm-hmm.
Not being scared of actual money. When I first started doing my events, I was asking for $100, and that was like the maximum. Now I have like a $10,000 minimum for my large scale projects, and then even my service fee is $500 now. Even just like have a conversation with me. So just not being scared, asking for your
Plus.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
plus exactly.
I,
Just stand on
how,
it. It might not happen right away, but just have faith in whatever you're selling.
Thank you. Okay, Coco.
For me, it's the same thing, just everything. How I'm always thinking about how, like he said, how can this person maybe help with this? What are you good at? Let's put it here. Okay, I'm good at this. Let's put it together. Okay. You don't have $22, but you got 20. Okay, I'll take that. Just making it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I for some reason I was blessed with the gift of gab, so I'm happy about that. But just making it work. Like I get on my Instagram and post a gang of pictures and deal with that, and then the Facebook I'm running like 5 pages, and just manipulating the free tools that you have, and doing the little impressions that are like $5 a day. But it does generate that traffic, and just sales, like somebody put Facebook. Before I ran Antics without a site for 3 years. So trapping out the bando for real. But I'm a little bit better now, but just making it happen. Like Rob said, just being a hustler, having that mentality, because if you don't make no money, then what? Your dream can only go so far with no money. So you got to get after it.
Yeah.
Charlie?
I would say I look for every single opportunity. I really do. If I see somebody looking for artists here, I'm either plugging my friends on it or I'm applying for it. I'm making sure if we have something coming up, I'm releasing it to magazines. Me and Keisha literally do the footwork of every single thing. We're putting press releases out to people if we have something coming up. Like, you are going to see what we have going. And I think that's the way you monetize your influence. Whether you have 1 follower or 1,000, you're influential to someone. If you are on here chasing your dream and putting yourself out there, you're influential to someone. And Keisha can even attest to her just making money off of social media. Like, you can make money off your talents if people see you. And that's a way to monetize your influence, is to keep doing what you're doing. I keep putting my photography out there. I keep putting what I'm good at out there. I reach out to people that I see that are good at other things and ask them to collab. Or if I see an opportunity, someone's looking for something, if I know I'm that person, I'm going to apply for it.
Yeah.
All the time. or if I see a need.
Plug yourself. And others around you. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about what are you good at, because like for me, it's like I know what I'm good at, so I'm not gonna try to like get in Charlie's lane, or I'm gonna just put her onto that, because you know what I mean. But it's no competition. It's just that's their lane, because then we could all be a conglomerate and a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
If he does the styling and I do the designing, okay, bam, like.
That's so true. That is so true. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much. I know that we started a little bit late, so I don't think we're going to necessarily get cut off. I don't know if there we go. Another plug here.
Told you, come with them. Like I said, I'm gonna be in Denver for like a short period of time, and I'm back and forth dealing with some things here. But real quick, we have a style. September 24th is my birthday, and again, you talk about bringing people together. I just want to bring people together. It's styling while we have where we're doing the event tonight. There's actually a photo studio back there. So I got some a few models. I got a couple brands coming, some content creators, stylists. I just want to build this creative community. You can set up your booth. You want to sell clothes. We're gonna have a bouncy house there. Like I said, I want to for adults, hangover part. I just want to bring creatives together, make a stronger community of creatives, and see how we can work with each other. You talked about photography, Charlie. You do come tonight. That backspace, there's a backspace on that lot where it's a photo studio they just opened up. So you can rent that out. You can use that. You build a relationship with, maybe that's something you have for free. And that's what you talk about. That's what you talk about networking. Let's find a way to do this. And this is me trying to just give back to the creative community, because being here, being a male in fashion is like a hell of a, it's like, is he like this? Like, what's up with him? And I got my fingernails painted. People always say, why is that? That's just a way to express myself. But being a male in a black male in a creative space, in a fashion space, I just always want to find a way to give back, to share, help others with what I've been blessed to have.
That's so amazing. Thank you so much. And we have a few more minutes, so don't worry, guys. I just want to kind of expand a little bit to something that you said earlier, George. Monetizing your influence is not always about just money. It's not always the dollars that you see. It's if you get a product from a brand. I think that's what people don't realize with content creation, like when you're getting started. Sometimes it may just be getting a free outfit or getting free products. But there is a point where you have to understand where you are deserving of more than just free products. So understanding where you are in your journey, understanding what to ask for based off of what your receipts are, what you've already shown. And that's another thing too. Have your receipts, like stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Always get your portfolio together. And I'm preaching to myself because this is something that I've learned, just not having my stuff together. I'm scrambling when opportunities come up. So have your stuff together so that you can show that you deserve the dollar amount that you're asking for, that you have the work ethic, that you have the, portfolio to back up what you're asking for. So I think that's the most important thing that's not the most important thing, but that's another thing that I definitely want to add to this conversation. So we have 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes. Are there any closing thoughts that you guys want to say? I'm thinking I'm gonna run this back probably on Keisha Marie Co. So stay tuned because this conversation I think definitely.
Someone asked Keisha if any of the panelists do a live show that they can go watch. So definitely bring Monetize Your Influence back. Keisha did have a live show every week. He's bringing that back.
I'm in the process of, getting my next season, if you will, because it'll be an IG live series as well as a podcast. So Monetize Your Influence will be coming back, and that will be a weekly, at the very least, weekly live stream series. So y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Definitely.
Yeah, drop some gems, guys.
I never really go live, but yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Laura said this has been the most dynamic panel at DSW. I love it. Shout out to Black creatives and Monetize Your Influence.
Shout out to y'all, because I've seen y'all kind of just build and grow from Charlie's little pool parties and but shout out to y'all because I love y'all. I love what y'all are doing and just keep going and growing.
Yes,
and creating.
Everybody should just drop some gems. I guess just on Monetizing Your Influence or anything that has helped you along your path. Just drop a couple gems.
Rob raised his hand.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that consistency is key. No matter what you guys are doing, just stay consistent with it. People aren't going to take you serious until you really take yourself serious. Yeah, even if you just start off a separate Instagram, that's a good starting point. But use that separate Instagram for your business more than using your personal Instagram. Really show everyone that you're really serious about everything that you're doing, and then people start taking you serious. I started my business less than 2 years ago. I just LLC'd in February. And it just started off as an Instagram. So it can start somewhere. It doesn't have to end there, but just be consistent with it. I start doing my events every month because I want people to know I was serious about this art stuff. And then once people started seeing that I was serious, people start upping money, people start buying tickets, people start really taking everything I was doing serious. But I had to first put it out there. And that was it. That's my small little jump. Consistency is key.
Facts. And I would say perseverance with consistency. That is there's gonna be moments where you just go pack up, crawl under a rock. You put your money into your business and it's getting all mixed up, and you're not seeing the profit right away, and you seeing others bubble around you. No one, you don't see their inside journey because everybody's inside journey is people always see the final product, and it's no, the final product what did it take to get you there? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, so I would say just persevere through those feelings of quitting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have them still to this day. So, you know, they never go away. It just gets to a bigger scale. Right. Because it's like you always second guess yourself the most. So, and me, I'm my biggest critic. So it's like, it's moments where I wake up like, this is too big for me. And it's like, nah, it's not. And then you do it and you're like, whoa,
I did it.
Like, I did it. Like, you scare yourself, you know? So I did it. Perseverance.
I would say too, self-care, mental health. That's one of our biggest things at Black Creators Weekend, Black Creators Collective. Take care of your mental health. Find a therapist if you need one or need help. As creatives, it's really hard because we're always in our own head. I would also say there's a lot of people starting up businesses and trying to figure out where they need to go on their journey. Me and Keisha assist with social media. So you can find us on Instagram. She dropped our links, everybody's links in there. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're here to help. And yeah, just start, just do it.
What's your last gym? Let's get a gym in 60 seconds or less.
Be genuine and intentional about everything that you do. Also, if you use your social media often, be aware of what you're posting on there, what you're putting on there, the pictures that you're tagged in. It's very important that you if you don't want to be seen in that light, pull it off. So make sure you're intentional and genuine. And people want to message you, but before they do, and they got a big offer, they're gonna try to figure out everything around your circle before they even come to you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. Thank you guys for watching Monetize Your Influence. Clearly, this was a panel that everybody enjoyed at Denver Startup Week. So I'm so honored that you guys were here. And yeah, we're gonna be back. This ain't the last rodeo at Denver Startup Week. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
And Charlie, I'm gonna get everybody's Instagram and stuff from you.
Okay, I'll send it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.